Cause how you walking with a lion got me feeling like Micah. I've been on the way to team on my back like a biker. Shorty won't be with a star, but you lucky if I invite you. We can take it to the next spot. They yelling like Prescott. Everybody like, there ain't no breaks, no rest stop. We tryna get your head chopped. The whole club yelling. Everybody.
Here we go. Here we go. Victory Formation Podcast. It's your boy Prescott. That's your boy Eddie. Eddie, say hi to the people.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the cast.
What's up? Thanks for all the fans out there watching. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Twitter. Please go follow us. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. Man, what did they say? Smash that like button. I hate when they say that. Smash that subscribe button. Whatever they do. So, yeah, give us some followers. I know you like what you hear. So let's do this. You know what I'm saying? So today, episode 12, season 1, we're working on some Cowboy stuff. It's a slow time of the season. So, you know, the trolls and the big names are fighting for content. Like free agency really hadn't started yet, so they don't have any big news. The combine is kind of in there. So we'll talk about that a little bit, but there's no really big news unless somebody gets arrested or some big name gets cut or like a couple, you know, big names get tagged like Ladarius Sneed, but that's only good for like the 30 seconds. So what do those sites do when they don't have anything to write about? They just invent stuff. And so
they find something that says Dallas Cowboys or rhymes with it.
Sexy. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to try and catch you up on all kind of news. We're going to talk about some free agents today. I know you've been watching the combine. We'll let you give us a report from the combine, what you think, who we've been talking to.
We got a report today of some of the unofficial and official visits that are the interviews that we've had at the combine. I know Jerry and Mike aren't there, but
Steven is there. I saw him.
Was he? I don't know if Jerry is there, but I know that Mike and both Mikes aren't there. Zimmer and but
yeah, because they said they were working on the new coaching staff, so he wasn't going to the Senior Bowl or to this.
But I think the defensive list came out. I don't know. I wasn't able to find who we interviewed for offense, but some of the bigger names, the informal ones, it was really it was heavily weighted with defensive linemen and linebackers. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like we really interviewed any DBs or anything like that. I mean, we had the Texas crew. We had Jalen Ford, the linebacker. Plus, we actually did a formal meeting with Devondre Sweat, which I'm excited about that.
Man, he's been mocked in all kind of mocks I've seen on Twitter everywhere.
Man, that guy is just his pure size. The couple of clips that I saw from the Senior Bowl where he was driving that center back and just mauling.
Oh yeah,
ridiculous. But we did
line porn right there.
Oh my gosh, I think I watched it like 3 or 4 times in a row. I think that the linebacker that had a pretty good Senior Bowl, Darius Masau from UCLA. Okay. We met with him. Looks like we did have a formal meeting though with Edrin Cooper, the linebacker at Texas A&M.
I've seen him mock to us a bunch. Yeah, I've seen him mock to us a bunch. I've seen Sweat mock to us a bunch.
Yep.
I've seen the guy from Oregon with the 2 names.
The
center or the O lineman.
Yeah.
Yeah, him. I've seen him mock to us a bunch.
Wait.
And then I've seen Braylon Allen mock to us a bunch. Oh yeah, because Kelsey's gone. We gotta.
Well, that's because I probably send you like 3 or 4 mocks a day in the chat
man,
with Braylon in it. I love Braylon. So a couple other names that one tweet that I did see today, which made a whole lot of sense. Botch, he sent out an idea that, you know, if Mike Zimmer is really looking at trying to build a defense that's going to work together next year, it would probably be a good idea to kind of maybe draft these guys in pairs, right, that have played together. So like that's why I brought up Sweat and what's his name, Jalen Ford, because they played together. They've been playing together at Texas. There's a couple guys from Texas A&M, Cooper and the defensive lineman. Also, I know we don't want to hear it, and it's a bad word when we talk about Michigan now, but
I'm about to say, don't draft any pairs from Michigan. That's
no.
We can draft from there as long as it's not in the second round. We're good.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It looks
Or
like
the first or second round.
we had an official visit with Chris Jenkins, the D tackle, and I know that we had an unofficial with the linebacker too, Jalen Harris. But I'm in the agreement. I think maybe drafting, if you had a chance to draft those two in pairs, I mean, it would be a benefit. I don't see any reason why.
That's an interesting strategy. Interesting strategy.
Yes, sir. But yeah, that's the news on the combine visits. We'll get a little bit more info probably tomorrow in the next couple of days. But I think Sweat.
Cool.
I think the D linemen run the 40s tomorrow.
Okay. They still have it in Indianapolis, right?
I think yeah. Or I think it might
they
be
had it for there for a long time.
I don't know.
And they started moving it around to like moving different stuff around so they can get more fans involved. It was an Indy for a long time.
Yeah, it was constantly an Indy.
Yeah, but Stephen Jones is out there making some talk. So he was talking about Diggs and Overshown.
Yep.
And he was saying that they're both on track to where they shouldn't have to be on PUP when training camp starts, because Overshown was in preseason and Diggs only played one game. He got hurt in the second game, I believe. Either the second or third game. I know it wasn't past the third game, but I want to say it was the second game.
It was preseason.
Overshown?
Oh, I think you said Overshown.
No. Yeah. I know. I know for a fact Overshown was in the preseason.
Yeah.
But Diggs got hurt in practice during the regular season. I think it was the second game because I know he laid that hit on Barkley so Bland could get his first pick six in the first game. So I know he played that, and then the second game he played, but then during the week he got hurt in practice, so he was out. So that's pretty long way off. Yeah. So they both should be good. The other major injury was LVE, but Stephen Jones didn't want to speculate. I think it's one of those things where he's fine, like physically he's fine, but it's one of those things where, hey, this gets hurt again, it might be long-term disastrous, like for the rest of your life type thing. So it's one of those things where he has to make up in his mind, do I want to take that risk to play football, or do I just need to hang it up? Because they can fix it, but if it gets hurt again, it might be serious.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Serious.
My feelings when I was hearing him talk about him was, I think of like an employer not being able to tell other, your current employees,
Exactly, yeah.
So there's rules that I don't think he can come out and say, no, he's too hurt, he's not going to play anymore. Something like
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
I think Van Der Esch has to come out and release that information to us, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
Yeah. Plus, I think, like I said, I think he just want to give him, like, let him make the decision without trying to make it seem like, well, we want him here. We don't know why he's here. Well, why he's not here type thing. It's like, hey, give him, because it's a tough decision. If you love football, you've been playing your whole life, and you can still play at a high level, because he was still playing at a high level last season before he got hurt. So it's tough when, like, it's easy to hang it up when like, man, I used to be good, now I suck. But when you're still playing at a high level, yeah, man. But something like this happens. It's tough to give it up.
Yep.
And then who else? Let's see. He said there was no movement on the Dak deal.
Yeah.
I saw a thing about 3 years, $180 million.
Yeah.
Like with $119 million guaranteed. Somebody put that out.
Yeah. I think these guys are just guessing right now.
Yeah, they really are.
They're just throwing something against the wall to see what sticks, and it gets traction because it's anything that says anything about Dak, people are grabbing and retweeting, and this is fact, and it doesn't
exactly.
make sense. So
it's hilarious. I have an inside man or some craziness.
Yep.
But so, and then let's see what else they talked about. I think that was it for the most part. They did say that they were working towards it. I mean, it's almost like I just don't see how they don't sign him. So it's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Like, unless they find out he's been sex trafficking women in his basement, something crazy like that, they're going to sign him.
Don't put that evil on nobody. Yeah, I got you. I think it's like they're trying to put together the best package, but
yeah, exactly.
It's not that we're only thinking about Dak. Like his salary and this contract is really going to determine our next season with everybody. Really,
everybody.
And so
he's the first domino.
Yep, and it's going to fall. Once his deal is signed, I think there's going to be a lot of decisions made pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, because Lamb is up. We don't have to make a decision on Parsons this year. Like we can wait until next year,
Yeah.
but Lamb has to get done as well. I think those are the main three
I tried
that we got to do.
I tried that little maneuver on Madden the other day. Like I didn't pick up I did pick up Micah's fifth year or something. I didn't pick up Micah's fifth year and let him play, and the Steelers stole him at the end of the season. Pissed me off. I couldn't even throw enough money at him. He didn't even want to come.
All right, so now after those dominoes fall, then we can start looking at free agents.
Mm-hmm.
And so today we got some, like, to me, these are the two deepest positions for free agents. Well, when it comes to talent, let me put it that way. There are always a bunch of them, but when it comes to top tier talent, the O line and the D line, they got some pretty. Well, I'm lying. D line is pretty deep. O line is it has a lot more good players, but that's because there are not that many good O linemen out there, and that's why it's so tough to find them.
Yeah, I think my description of that, I think it's like heavily weighted at the top, right? And each one of those positions, there's some really good free agents, but then after 2 or 3 of them, it gets real slim pickings.
Mm-hmm. But the one good thing I could say is but it's a lot of big names in the D lineman free agency. It's a lot of big names, like people you'll recognize.
Oh, yeah.
And for O linemen, it's people who, if you watch football, you recognize them, but not for the casual fan type thing.
There you go. That's always been the problem with football, is that it's hard to be a star with a helmet on because the camera doesn't see your face, right?
Yeah, doesn't.
They'll know your number and your name, and you can see some of the stars because the camera goes on them after the game. But those linemen, they don't get.
If you're just but if you're a good player but not a star, you can be walking down the street and some of it look like he looks like he plays a sport just how built they are. But it's like I don't recognize him. Yeah. But so let's look at some O-line free agents. These are the ones that I thought were very feasible for us.
Okay.
Of course, number one was Tyron Smith, bringing our guy back. They said that they want to bring him back. I have zero problems with bringing him back. As long as he knows that he is not like, hey, you're our cornerstone left tackle or whatever. As long as he knows that, because he knows he gets hurt every single year. So as long as we bring him back with a solid backup.
I agree. If we have a plan, right?
Yeah.
Then yes.
And then to me, the best out there who I liked, and this is just me, I'm not saying he's the best, consensus. I like Robert Hunt. He plays for the Dolphins. He can play guard or tackle, and he played both at a very high level. Kind of like how Tyler Smith could play guard and tackle. Like he's really, really good at guard, and then he's really good, like just a regular good at tackle, but he's excellent at guard, and that's how this guy is. So he's one that can come in, but he's going to get, top tier money.
You think?
So he's an all-in type thing. And then after that, it was a bunch of average to good players. And so I had 4 of them. Jonah Williams, he's a tackle for the Bengals. Mike Onwenu, he's a guard for the Patriots. Kevin Dotson, guard for the Rams. Jonah Jackson, guard for the Rams. There's not that many good tackles out there. And that's why I said we need to get Tyron Smith back. And so he can at least give us 8 to 10 quality games, and we can have somebody stick in, for the 4 to 7 games that he's going to miss.
Yep. I think,
and so
in my opinion, when it comes to linemen, I like those picks because they're solid linemen. I think we obviously first off need to take care of Tyrone. He's taking care of us financially. We've done it. Same. I think he's part of our family. I think we need to bring him back and let him retire as a Cowboy. As long as we have a solid plan in place. Yeah, I really do think that we should draft a tackle and let him sit behind him and get ready.
I think so too. Tackle.
Yeah.
And that's why I said tackle and linebacker should be our first 2 picks. But whichever way they go, it's all right with me. If we get tackle, linebacker, or linebacker, tackle, I think those should be our first 2 picks.
One thing that I do want to mention, though, is, with Dak and his when he resigns, I don't know if we're going to. I think Biadasz is a
Biadasz. He's a free agent.
So we need to make sure. I mean, we're going to bring him back, or are we going to look at center options? I know we have Hoffman on the squad. I like Hoffman a lot. He brings something to that position. We remember when he didn't. I don't know if it was the Rams who he played against this year, but he brought something to that middle that we normally don't have. I don't know. Or, if we are able to draft, then we don't have to worry about him. But there are other centers that we need to make sure that maybe we might want to take a look at too. So that's going to be another one that's I've always loved Cushenberry. I've always loved him.
Oh yeah.
And
he was on there too.
He's going to be a free agent. I think we had a chance to draft him too, and I was like, we didn't draft him. But I think that he's pretty young too. As a free agent, he's 26 years old compared to some of these other guys.
Yeah.
Long in the tooth as lineman is good. I mean, we got away with Jason Peters last year, but I think the younger we can get.
And what are those two guards that filled in for us that did a pretty good job toward the end of the season? I like those guys.
Yeah, that was
get two of
that
them.
was the kid from Bass from Oregon.
Bass, he's one of them.
I love him. I loved his pickup. And then who was our other guard? Who was that? Why can't I
can't remember.
Oh, now you're gonna make me hold on. Was it Hoffman? I think
you
we
can look
might
it
have.
up.
I think we moved.
It might have been Hoffman playing guard when Martin was out and Tyler Smith was out at the same time. We had two guards playing.
Yeah, because we didn't play a seam, even though we drafted him.
Yeah, and as long as we never let Josh Ball play football for us again, I'll be all right. Like we can fire him into the sun.
Keep him on the team.
And I mean,
let him get beat up in practice. That's all we do.
Yeah. Use him. Give. You know what? We can if a defensive lineman is struggling, like man, we need to get his confidence up. You know what? Let's play Josh Ball tomorrow a lot against this guy. His confidence will go sky high because he'll beat the brakes off of it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Psychological warfare.
Well, it definitely wasn't. We didn't. I know. I hope that we get rid of Chuma Edoga. I'm serious. I hope we do.
Oh my God, Edoga and Ball.
But
I'll drive both of them to the airport. I don't think they'll fit in my back seat. I only have a Toyota Corolla, so they won't. One could fit in the front. One could fit in the back.
I saw Police Academy. You just got to take the front seats out, bro. You just sit in the back seat.
That's it, man.
Let's talk about D-line now.
So, D-line. All right. So this is what I got. I have.
No. Are you talking about? Are you lumping the ends in with the D-line?
Yeah. I'm putting both of them in together. Okay. So I got two all-in players.
All-ins.
Chris Jones for D tackle, and Brian Burns for D end. And those will be my two, but they're going to be very expensive. Very expensive. So if we go that route, then we're going to have to let some people go. So those
Burns
and with Brian Burns, we had very strong ties to him at the trade deadline. He was given to us so many times by so many people, and it was close. And then I had three of them that were, I wouldn't mind getting these guys. One was Josh Allen for the Jaguars, not the quarterback, the DN. Christian Wilkins, D tackle for the Dolphins. He's been real good. And Leonard Williams. The Giants traded him to Seattle, and he did pretty good for Seattle last year, but he's a free agent.
He always hurt Romo.
Yeah, he is.
Always hurt him.
So those are the five that I would really like to get. The first two, of course, are they're going to get big bucks.
Yeah.
Chris Jones is going to get ridiculous money, even though he's near the end of his career. But I mean, he had a great season last year. That the Chiefs defense rebounded as soon as he came back from injury. He saved the Super Bowl. A lot of people don't realize that last in overtime, that last third down play with Purdy,
because
they called a perfect play, and it worked. Yep. And they did not block him after the dude ran for us. I don't know if people remember, but Cole Beasley used to run this route a lot, where he'd run like a little fake slant, stutter step, and then go back out.
It's called a hide.
And Ayuk, and Ayuk ran that route, was wide open, walk-in touchdown. But Chris Jones destroyed the play, fourth down, they kicked the field goal, and stuff like that. It's like what he brings to the table.
That was definitely something that offensive lineman. It was probably
it's gonna be dreaming about
it in his brain over and over and over again.
I wanted the coach brought it up to him. This is what you don't do in the Super Bowl when the
They're like,
game's on the
nobody
line,
talked
fellas.
to.
Watch
And the coach
this.
like, nobody talked to him. He's sitting over there. Go sit over there.
Like, you know what?
You know what?
You walk
No,
on.
I know. You get on the cheerleaders bus. No,
No orange slices for
that was
you.
always the threat. You could ride home with the cheerleaders in the band. But yeah, no, I like those suggestions a lot. I mean, if we could get Burns, he's 26 years old. That'd be ridiculous.
Oh man,
But
he's a pipe dream.
there's always, we've always been connected to Daniel Hunter as well. Danielle Hunter.
Yeah. Yep.
He's got a motor that doesn't stop running. But you know how nice it would be if we could sign Chase Daniels.
Not Chase Daniels. Chase Young.
Not Daniels, but Chase Young.
Yeah.
You know how I mean,
man, I thought about that.
Because I mean, he might garner some money. He might not. I mean, he had a pretty good season last year. He
I don't think he'd be too expensive.
I think if anything, we should take a swing at him. But that's definitely somebody I would be. Justin Matabuke from Baltimore, tackle. I think he's a perfect nose tackle. Chris Jones is going to be.
One thing I heard about him was, like, he's in his 4th year, I believe. In his first 3 years, he was very mediocre. Yeah. This year, he just blew up. And so they were like, was he the first 3 years or was he this last year? So that's the thing you got to try and think about when you want to sign him. So it's one of those things that you have to take a guess on him because he hadn't been consistently good.
My theory on D linemen when it comes to things like that, I think they ramp up. Right, Mozzie's going to ramp up. I don't.
I think so.
I don't feel ramp down because I think like running backs ramp down, quarterbacks do. There's not too many ramp up, but there's a learning curve.
Because they're built to take that punishment. Yeah, because they're built to take that. Running backs get punishment, but they're not built. They're built to be, faster or whatever. And so we'll see.
My last one, it was somebody that you suggested too, was Leonard Williams. He's a Cowboy killer, and I would like him. Long and lean and mean. Yeah, that's good.
I'm a fan of him.
Sir.
So, what about any other free agents just around the league? What do you think? What's some good landing spots for him?
I think, well, if we're going to talk about I think I had researched a little bit of some of the top. I was looking at running backs. I think we're going to be duped by some of these bigger running backs. Talking about free agency, I think the Giants are going to sign Saquon again. I think, I think the only big back sign somewhere else.
I'm a zag. I don't think they will, only because I don't think he wants to go back there.
I just read something about how they were talking about it at the Combine. They met with him or his agent.
Yeah,
you're right, man. I think it's like if you believe that's your home and you've just been injured a lot, then it's not that the team didn't want to use you. You've just been injured. So I think he continues the case. I think he wants to prove that the Giants weren't done by keeping.
Plus, if I'm looking at his team, I'm him, I can't believe he's invested in Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is going to take us to the promised land.
But
I don't think so.
I think the only big back that we're going to see move is going to be Derrick Henry. I mean, Allison Eckler is going to sign somewhere else, but I wouldn't touch him. DeAndre Swift maybe might leave, but again, that's another iffy. He had good games, but
my guy's still Gus Edwards.
Gus Bus. Where do you think Tony's going to play next year?
The Eagles.
I think he's going to.
I bet Kellen Moore gets him.
He's going to. I think he's going to go to the AFC. To be honest with you,
if Swift leaves, I bet Kellen's going to try and make a push to sign him.
Yeah,
but I want to see him go to the AFC.
Yeah, I think.
If I was Tony Pollard, I would. I don't know. It'd be kind of tough because I wouldn't want to sit behind. What's his face? The running back for the Chiefs.
Pacheco?
The one that runs.
You're not gonna take any carries from Pacheco. I think he'd be amazing in Baltimore with Lamar. Him and Pollard.
Oh, man, he would. Yeah, I think so too.
I think it would be good. And plus, they're always training new running backs. They always have somebody new over there. So
I think so too. I think he'd be good if Eckler doesn't re-sign with the Chargers, I think he'd be good there.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Eckler is one of those backs that I don't mind grabbing in fantasy.
Exactly,
Yeah, I
but
don't
not
want
on
him
my
on my
team.
team,
Yeah.
man. I don't know why it is, and it's he.
Yeah, and I think he's a good player. Yeah, I just don't
I don't want to root for him.
feel it. 'Cause I didn't even like him in fantasy, but I mean, he was good in fantasy, but I really didn't get him. He used to burn me because I never did pick him, and like, man, I wish I'd
Then
pick
all of a sudden he
Eckler.
scored like 85 points in 1 week. And, damn.
Yeah, damn it.
But yeah, those are some of the bigger ones. Calvin Ridley. Well, when we're talking about receiver,
That's who I want.
you want to make a push on him, on Ridley.
Ridley, Lamb, Cooks, Tolbert, and Jalen Brooks. That I mean, it's a good five to me.
The only thing that I would think of is that I don't think there's that much of a difference between Ridley and Cooks. I just don't see it, right?
I think Ridley's just
You see it
bigger.
bigger?
Cooks, yeah, they're both pretty good stat wise. Cooks, I mean, Ridley's just bigger.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are they put the tag on Higgins, right? They're talking about trading him, but I don't think
Yeah, so he was out the market. He was my number one. He was my number one player to get.
But if I didn't think that the Colts put Pittman on that tag either. But
No.
Michael Pittman Jr., he's got some size on him too.
He's good, yeah.
He's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. In case y'all are wondering, we had a wide receiver free agent pod a couple weeks ago. So you can go back. I think we're in 12. I think it's number 9.
Yeah.
Episode 9. You can go back and look. It's in the
I just
descriptions.
want to touch on some of the
Search on
the
YouTube.
top guys that I think would be, that I think that we're going to see move in the next couple days or in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
That'll make us laugh.
You know what? It won't matter. It won't matter if we don't have the right culture here. Because if we don't have the right culture, it doesn't matter what player we bring in, they're just gonna falter. That's been the big news this week. Someone legit asked, and I don't mind them asking this question. That's a legit question to ask, I think. But for it to make national news after that, they asked, Stephen Jones what he thinks about the culture. And me personally, I don't think we have a culture problem or we need a culture change. But with Zimmer on the way, we're going to get a culture change whether we want to or not. Because he's going to come in and he's going to change some stuff. But I don't think we desperately needed one. The only thing I think we needed to change was the dumb penalties. So if that's culture, then yes, we need a culture change. Because I don't think we had a culture of holding people accountable when they made dumb penalties. But they just do it again and do it again. They killed us. Like the untimely penalties. If you notice, the good teams, they don't make those boneheaded penalties in the fourth quarter or on third down when it's 3rd and 3.
I think it's. I'm not shitting on your opinion on this at all. Believe me, I feel that anger every single time I see that. But I think that we see that a lot because that's just what we see. A lot of teams are being penalized, man, and a lot of teams are making stupid penalties on big plays. I think it just hurts our feelings more, and we're in the spotlight.
It does. It does. But we've always been in the top 10 of total penalties, every year. Every year we've been in the top 10. So that's what I'm thinking about when I think penalties. Because some teams are way behind us, by dozens and dozens of less penalties than us. And it's man, that would be nice where we only having 5 penalties a game. We can overcome, we have a good enough offense to overcome 5 or 6 penalties. When we start getting 9 to 11 penalties, that's tough to overcome, especially when they come at back-breaking moments. Forget scoring a touchdown, but back to CD for 37 yards. Oh, it's a holding on steal. Bring it back. So not only do we lose 37 yards, we have to go back 10 yards, and it's just demoralizing.
My only objection to that is when people bring that up to me, I say, well, what do you think that we're not running them enough? Do you think that we're not do you think that
I don't know how to
not screaming is not loud enough at them? Because it's like when we have discussions about, well, I can't believe that we get so many penalties. Our coaches suck. I'm like, well, what do you mean our coaches? Do they do they not give them enough up downs? Or what do you mean by that? And that's the discussion that I had today when I kept reading about all this culture issue is what do you? I said I asked one person. That's all I did. I put out a question. I said, explain to me what you mean by culture, but that we have a culture issue. Are you talking about the atmosphere? Are you talking about the attitudes, or what do you mean by that? And I got a lot of responses that vary quite a bit, and you hit on one of them was, it's the accountability. Coaches don't hold players accountable. Okay, I get it. I see what you're saying, but then again, this isn't college football. This is pro football. Maybe some of the players don't listen to the coach like that. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe we do have some immature players on our teams that need to kind of grow up a little bit. But I 100% fully feel that we don't have a culture issue. We just had an accountability issue. And you nailed it. Zimmer's
I think so
come
too.
in.
I do agree with
Zimmer's he's gonna say no. He's gonna say, turn the music off right now. You guys just lost. Right? It's that coach that you have a quiet bus ride home because
Think about what you did wrong.
That's what's gonna happen.
And so, like, for instance, just like you said, with our penalty, like I told you, a lot of teams do penalties, but like for us, we were second in the league in penalties last year. New York Jets had 124. We had 115, tied with Cleveland.
Think about this though, too. When you're talking about those numbers, think of the phantom no calls that we didn't get this year. How many times did Micah not get held or get held and not? Maybe 5 times in a game, right? And that adds up. That's freaking 50 penalties that didn't get called on teams that probably got called on us.
And so I'm thinking, like, when I bring up that number, I'm thinking, well, who was number one in penalties? Las Vegas. So we had 115. Las Vegas had 75.
Wait,
the whole season.
Wait, rewind that. Say that again.
We had 115 penalties. Las Vegas Raiders had 75. We had 40 more penalties than they did. Because they were number one and we were second to last. And so when I think about that, like, for instance, we led the league in offensive holding penalties. We had 22. Next person had 20. No. You know what? Kansas City had 21. Then on defense, we led the league in offsides. That was the one that killed me a lot.
Lining up on it.
Because, see, to me, holding, that's like technique, or, man, I can't get my quarterback killed. I better hold and hope I get away with it. Offsides, that's straight looking at the ball and getting off. So that's like one of those things where you have more control over that than you do a hold. Because holding, you're trying to handle somebody that might be way better than you, Aaron Donald or whatever, Jadeveon Clowney, and you're like, man, I just got beat. I better hold on for dear life. Offsides, nobody's touching you. That's all you. But we led the league in offsides. And that's where I think the culture of accountability comes in. Because we're doing penalties that is on you 100%. Nobody can force you offsides. You have to go offsides. Now, somebody can force you, like, for instance, say you're running and then it's a short pass. The wide receiver can run through you and force a pass interference. You really didn't pass interfere with him. He just ran through your body and drew that flag. So it's like, even then, it's not really your fault, but you should have turned around or whatever. But still, they forced that penalty. Offsides, to me, is a straight mental disciplinarian type thing, and we led the league in that.
I agree. In the NFL, holding happens 100% of every single play.
At the time,
the only time that it's
called all the time
is that when that defensive lineman shifts and you see the jersey move.
You block them and then he pulls away. They're coming that way and they grab him.
The linemen are getting good at. I'm not going to rush anymore. I'm going to get a holding call called on you because I'm going to do it this way. But it's
exactly.
I agree. Okay, then. But, I appreciate this conversation because I 100% agree with you on the accountability on those penalties where it's a no-brainer. You're lining up offsides because you didn't do something right. It's not that you were trying real hard and you got called for holding. Right.
I'm gonna put a pin in this conversation, and next year I guarantee, I'm calling it right now, we won't lead the league in offsides with Mike Zimmer on our team. We will not lead the league in offsides. I guarantee it. I'll put money on it. If it was a bet on FanDuel, I'd put money on it.
Receipts. It's recorded. There we go. I agree on that.
Yeah. Anyway, but we'll see how it goes. So I think that's all the stuff we got today. We'll have a better episode next week
Yeah,
for you
next week.
guys. Try to come up with some better stuff. We have some more news, some more
Some
combine news, some more free agent news.
news. Maybe a Dak signing. Maybe.
I'd say, yeah, but to say, hopefully Dak is signed by
Yeah.
next week. Because free agents, they need to sign Dak before free agency starts so they know how much money they have. But it's crazy how his salary is only $29 million this year. But his salary cap hit
Because
is
he already
$60
got paid
million
all that.
this year. Yeah, he already got paid, and they restructured him a few times, and they pushed his bonus into the future and all that. So don't let anybody tell you Dak is getting paid $60 million this year. He's getting paid $29 million. His cap hit is $60 million.
Those are just the fools that don't know how contracts work. Do you know? Did Dak, the lady, have her baby yet? His baby yet?
I haven't heard it. I haven't seen it on Twitter, so I don't think it. Either they haven't said it or she hasn't had it yet.
Quiet news, and that's kind of crazy how these discussions are all happening right at the pinnacle of that.
I know, man. He's stressed out. He has a baby on the way. He's trying to get his new contract.
Don't know if he's going to get a paycheck.
I mean, but with him, man. Like, man, he's about to be homeless. Like, man, we need to start a GoFundMe for Dak. He didn't have any money. They probably dropped him from his Sleep Number commercials. But anyway, yeah, we'll see.
All right, man.
All right, so y'all take it easy. We heading on out. We see y'all next week. Eddie, holla at
It's easy
people.
for life, you know this. We'll have a good night.
We love you
We'll see you
guys.
next week.
Yeah, here we go. All right, yeah,
Love you guys.
take it easy.
Cause how you walking with a lion got me feeling like Micah. I've been known to wear the team on my back like a biker. Shorty won't be with a star, but you lucky if I invite you. We can take it to the next spot. They yelling like Prescott. Everybody like, there ain't no breaks, no rest stop. We tryna get your head chopped. The whole club yelling. Everybody.